Well, good morning. Today is Monday, September 19th, and it's time for our weekly meeting highlights. This week it's about how to simplify food tracking. As you know, I'm doing both Weight Watchers and my Fitness Pal. I'm doing the points and the calories. I wasn't really dedicated to it this past week, although I was trying my best. It's kind of hard when that sugar bug attacks you to get back into the groove, and I really tried my best. But last week I had a 6.2 gain. Let's see how I did this week. I lost 0.2 for my total loss of 60.4. I weighed 243.8. Hopefully it's not too breezy out here. I might be going inside. Don't know. See if it calms down. We had rain last night. It's beautiful. It's a little muggy, but it's our last full week of summer. So I'm gonna soak up as much sun as I can because it'll be cool enough soon enough. But anyway, this week it was talking about how to simplify your food tracking. One of the most effective tools in weight loss is tracking what you eat. The best way to ensure you actually do it, learn the tricks to be smarter and know that it's not harder to do. It's a little bit more time consuming to do the points and the calories, but it's really not that much harder. I do track on both apps. Where I have the advantage is on the Weight Watcher app. When you're tracking your points, if you scroll up a little bit, it'll tell you your calories also. And then I also like to look at the sodium and the carbohydrates and the proteins and things like that. I'm not tracking all of those, but I like to keep like in the back of my mind, kind of keep track of them. If I see I'm eating a food that's higher in sodium and carbohydrates, I try to avoid it a little bit more. But there's different things that you can use. You can use the WW app search tools. You use the little barcode on top if you have it. You could take a picture of your meal. I don't usually take a picture of my meal. I see people out when they're taking pictures of their meals, and a lot of times I think that the picture doesn't do the food justice. Sometimes you see something on Facebook and things like that, Instagram, and then you think, they ate that? That didn't look that good, but I bet you it really did look and taste good. It's just that the picture didn't do it justice. Save your recipes. Do some go-to meals. I made there was a collab yesterday for soups. Oh, you should go on there. I didn't see not one soup I didn't like. There was a couple soups that had ingredients that I didn't like in them, but it was a soup that I could eliminate that particular ingredient and substitute my own, and it wouldn't make a difference. But I didn't see not one recipe that I'm not going to try. And what I do is, like I made the pasta fagioli last week. It made like 22 cups. It's just Jim and I here. So we had our meal, and then we had it the next day for lunch. And then what was left, I put in little 1 cup freezer-safe containers, and I have them in my freezer. And so it's just a quick go-to. They thaw really easy. They freeze really well, and it thaws pretty quickly. And then I'm not a big microwave person, so I reheat it on the stove. But if you did it in the microwave, it'd probably be way quicker. I have a microwave that I use for emergencies, I guess, but I'm not really a big cook in a microwave type of person. But also when Jim and I make meals, what I do is I make like little TV dinners. Remember those little TV dinners where you rip the little foil off and you'd have that little crappy little piece of potato and meat? But they've come a long way, baby, since then. But so I have those, so that because with Jim working afternoons in the fall and winter months, it's just easier just to take that kind of a meal out and then pop it into the freezer, or pop it into the oven, and then like you could do an air fryer. I have an air fryer also. I've got 2 air fryers actually. I have an actual air fryer, and I have an air fryer option on my stove. And I don't think I've made 1 meal in the air fryer. I never think about it. I have an Instapot. I've never used it not once. But anyway. So you can also track similar restaurant dishes. You can't find your meal on the WW app. Sometimes you can go to another restaurant and they're pretty close, on their ingredients. And you can pre-track your meals. So if you know that you're going to have a higher point meal at night, you can figure out for the day, like I'm going to eat this little bit less. Or if you start off with a big breakfast, you can plan for the rest of the day. Well, I had a big breakfast. Now let me rein in my points a little bit for the rest of the day. You can always work around it. Now, some days you're going to be a little bit higher in calories and points, but try to make up for it the next day, not by starving yourself. You don't want to ever starve yourself, but just cut back on the little things, you know. As much as we would like to think we could have cake and donuts and cookies and candy every single day of the week, I can't do that. I just know I can't do that. But you know, for every once in a while, a little treat. A little treat's not going to hurt. But just realize in my mind it's a treat. It's not, you know. I did, because I do like ice cream. It costs more, but in the long run, it costs me in calories less. Is I buy the tiny little Dixie cups of ice cream from Breyers, and it's just like, I think it's a half a cup serving. And it's like, if I was to get out the whole, we used to call them a gallon of ice cream. Now it's just a little less than a quart, or maybe a little bit more than a quart of ice cream. If I was to scoop up my own ice cream, I'm not going to scoop out a half a cup. No, I'm going to scoop out ice cream. But when I take out these little cups, I always think in the back of my mind, if the one wasn't enough, you can always go have another one. But when I'm done with it, I realize that the one was enough. So in the long run, it might have been a little bit more expensive, but it pays off. It really does pay off. Now with the like popcorn and pretzels and things, when I get the bags, because I get them like at BJ's, so you can get the bigger bag for the better price, I immediately put them into the correct serving sizes, and I have them in a container in my pantry, so that if I want some chips or something, I know it's a 5-point snack. I know how many calories it is. I just go and grab it and I snack on it and not feel any guilt. Whereas if I open up a bag, you know, you're gonna just keep putting your hand in and out of the bag. Try a shortcut, then reflect. Did it save time and effort? If yes, keep it up. If not, really, try another method. So when they tell you to dive a little deeper, ever find yourself struggling to log a chef's every pinch and dash in the WW app? That's the only problem I have. I think that's one of the reasons they stopped sharing recipes, is because they had so many things that you just never had before. I have to take this call in a minute. Sorry, I had to take that call. I think that, like I said, I think one of the reasons is because they had so many ingredients that you just don't have on your shelf, and you're not going to go out of your way to buy it, to use it that one time. Like they need a teaspoon of dry mustard. I don't use dry mustard. So like a teaspoon of dry mustard. Do I really want to go out and buy a whole little spice jar for like $3 or $4 so I can get like a quarter teaspoon of that? Try to find recipes that work for you, and you know, change them up sometimes. Just because it said it needed, maybe that's not really a quarter teaspoon of something is not really gonna, I don't think, make or break a recipe. I could be wrong, but I don't really think it will. Science's tracking is the single best predictor of weight loss, so of course you want to get it right. But science also tells us tracking regularly, not perfectly, is also the secret. If you were to write down every single thing you ate in a day, I think you'd have an awakening. I know that mine was with the nuts. I used to just go by the jar and grab 2 or 3 cashews, and then, okay, I'm done. I had 2 or 3 cashews. I'm fine. Move on with my day. But then I realized I was dipping into that jar a lot. So then the one day I thought, I'm just going to measure out a quarter cup of cashews and put it on the counter, and every time I walk by, I'll take a couple of them and I'll be fine. And I realized how fast I went through them. So, you know, figure out that way. So, I know I'm waiting for the breeze. It's easy to get busy, bored, or distracted, and as humans, we're less likely to stick with things that require a lot of effort, energy, and time, like striving for a non-existent perfect tracker gold star. That was my problem with Weight Watchers, is I was trying so consistently to get a blue dot every day, and then when I didn't get one, I felt so dejected, and I went off my plan, because I thought, you messed it up yesterday, you didn't get a blue dot, now you got to start all over again. I don't concern myself with that now. I concern myself with staying within my calories, trying to stay within my points. When I'm over my points in Weight Watchers, I try to see how many calories I had, to see if, you know, well, maybe I just chose poorly. But then, even though some of them are less in calories, I also have to look at how many carbohydrates there was in whatever I ate, how much sodium was. And I know it sounds like a lot of effort, but I just want to get back on the healthy eating track. The point 2 loss, I'm fine with that. I've just reassessed my thinking of I'm just trying to get back on track, eating healthy, enjoying my food, enjoying my life. And the number on the scale doesn't reflect who I feel like I am anymore. I've always, since the 80s, I've told you I've been trying to get to 100 pounds loss. If that realization never hits me, it never hits me. I mean, but that doesn't mean I'm going to still work in at that, but it's not going to be my sole obsession anymore, because that really was my sole obsession. But when I did get to 96 pounds lost when it was my sole, but then when I got so close, I just sabotaged myself because I didn't think I deserved it, and I don't want to do that again. So I'm just taking it easy. Whatever the number says on the scale, I'm going to weigh myself once a week at the same time like I do right now, and just move on from there. And that's all I can do. That's really all I can do. Remember, the point of tracking is awareness, not keeping score. That's why it works and why consistency beats perfection. Shortcuts like guesstimating points, tracking a restaurant's chain minestrone soup instead of your local soup, or relying on tools to streamline the tracking process doesn't make you any less aware of your eating habits, nor do they hinder your progress. They make this journey easier and save time, which helps you to keep on track for your goals. I know how much things are. You can go to a steakhouse and order a steak and think, well, I'm getting a sirloin steak, that'll be good. There are less points. I know that from when I make it at home. You don't use as much butter as they use. The reason the steakhouses taste so good is all the extra stuff that they put on their steaks that you're just maybe not consciously aware of, which makes it taste that much better. The same with the chicken and anything you order out, they put stuff on it, because you always wonder, how come I can't do that at home? Now, I like my salads better at home that you get at a restaurant, but they have some kind of secret ingredient. I could make a sub at home and it put all the same ingredients in it that Jimmy John's puts in it. It's not going to taste like a Jimmy John's sub because they have some kind of magic sauce or something they put on it. I really believe that, but I try my best. That's all I can do is try my best. So this month has been about time-saving solutions. We have one more week of this. I do think that the options of having apps help you out a lot. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Weight Watcher app. There's a lot of free apps that you can get if you just look into it. Just be conscious of what you're eating, I think, is more or less a good tool. You don't really need to know that you've had too many calories if you've had like a big piece of cake with some ice cream and then a big glass of milk with it, and then you went on to eat a big dinner. You don't need to track that to know that you had too many. I'm not saying not to track it. I'm just saying in your mind you overate. So just be aware. If you're not writing things down, if you're not putting them in an app or anything, try to have a conscious insight of what you're eating for the day, and that'll rein you in. Because then at the end of the day, just sit there and think, well, what did I have for breakfast? What did I have for lunch? What did I have for dinner? What did I snack on? And in your mind, you'll know if you overate that day. You really will. And so if that's the way you need to track your weight and to simplify your food tracking, that'll work too. In the morning, try to make a plan of attack. Like, maybe for breakfast, I'll have a bowl of cereal. For lunch, I'll have a half a sandwich. Maybe for dinner, I'll have a piece of chicken with some vegetables on the side. And maybe for my snacks, I'll have some sugar-free pudding or Jell-O or some fruit. In your mind, you've tracked out your day. You haven't necessarily written it down, but you're aware of what you're going to eat that day. So I guess that's what they're trying to tell us. But like I said, I weighed 243.8 this morning, a 0.2 loss, 60.4. At least I'm in the 60s still. I'm going to strive to do better next week. Jim and I have plans to go out of town this week, so we'll be eating most of our meals out on Wednesday and Thursday. So I have to be very conscious of my eating choices, and maybe not necessarily write everything down, but be aware each day what I'm eating, so I can say, well, I had that, so I don't need this. That's my hope. So how did you guys do on yours this week? And what do you think of the food tracking? How do you track your food? I'm kind of curious. Does everybody write it down, or do you just keep track of it in your mind, or just throw it to the wind? I threw it to the wind the week I gained 6.2 pounds. I can't throw it to the wind anymore. But if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like button, share if you think somebody might like to see it. I hope to see you here again next week, if not on my daily vlog. I have a no tag tomorrow. I have a video coming up on Wednesday with my 2 sons answering your questions. I had the September collab that went up yesterday, so there's lots of choices out there. And if you go to the September video, click on the description box and go to all the other channels, because let me tell you, I did not see not one soup that I'm not going to try. So, okay, I'll talk to you guys soon.